All right, welcome. We're starting a new series here. Combination of obviously ASL starter kit, and we're going to use the Minden Games retro rules. I know a number of YouTubers, wargaming YouTubers, have done this before. I'm going to use this as my chance to get familiar because it does open up all that ASL stuff, which I actually have, with rules that are quick to get into, ideally. As opposed to maybe potentially moving to the starter kit at some point. I don't really see myself going for the full rules, just from a time point of view. Um, yeah, but I do have a copy. But in any case, we're going to start here with the retro rules from Minden Games, stripped down compared to even the starter kit. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. You can order directly from Minden Games, or you can get on Wargame Vault. I'm using my Wargame Vault PDF right now. And as our test, or our first one, and I may just go through all the scenarios one by one. We've got ASL Starter Kit 1, Scenario 1, retaking Verville, and I've already got the units here set up. Let's go ahead though and take a quick look, or we'll skim through the rules here and see how they apply or compare to the standard starter kit and full squad leader, advanced squad leader. Here's the table of contents. Looks pretty straightforward. We only have to go as far as page 15 for this scenario because we don't have any vehicles. But it looks like going to vehicles and ordnance. You're up to maybe 20 pages, so we'll see. They've got scenario generation also and some optional rules. But for today, let's just take a quick look at the main rules here. And here we go. We've got to start sequence of play. And that's the rally phase, and only two things really happen there. You can repair support weapons, unbroken SMC or MMC. Roll of 1, it's repaired, and a roll of 6, it's broken. Anything else doesn't mean anything. Then we go to the rally phase, and they have to roll their morale rating or equal or less. They get a DRM for leader. And we're also going to see there's a desperation morale, I believe it is. I think that's open in open terrain within line of sight. So we'll see that in a little bit here. Let's see, moving on next. We have our movement. This is just according to the phase here. This is the unique rule for this the retro rules, the hesitation rule. And again, a unit must end movement when it moves adjacent to an unbroken enemy unit. Okay, that's kind of like pseudo zones of controls, but that does set them up in the close combat phase to advance and initiate. But here's the one. If the unit moves into the first open hex that is within normal range of any non-broken MMC or MG, we're not talking about SMC here, or potentially even a hero, but let's see if we had this guy, let's say, move here and then here, he would have to do a hesitation roll, and this 7-0 really wouldn't have much of an effect. And let's see what the modifiers are. 5 or less, pass. So you got to roll a 6 or more, and they have to halt. So the modifiers are going to be key here. Leadership DRM, if enemy MG within normal range, if closer than half normal range of non-broken infantry squad. And yeah, this guy's got a range of 4, halved is 2, so that's within range of 2. And if all checking units are elite SS, they aren't, but they will be here for the Americans. So in this case, there would be a +1 to the die roll. So we would come up here and roll, and I don't see the dice roller. Okay, never mind. I just found it. It's down here in this Vassal mod. Yeah, a little background here. I was gonna potentially use this as a chance to learn Tabletop Simulator because I got some play testing to do in there, and I did dabble with Tabletop Simulator, but you know, I can work with it, but I'm too used to Vassal. This is my preferred. I'm not saying it's better, it's just some people prefer TTS. Some people prefer Vassal, and I'm just a Vassal fan here since I also design mods. So we would roll the die. Doesn't look like, oh, there it is. I got a single die roll there. And with a 3, that would be a 4. So they don't hesitate. So they can move again. And let's say they move here. And they have to roll again. There's no MGs, so the only one that flies is a +1 to the die roll because of this. No MGs, so we'd roll the die again. We get a 3, and they're okay, and they're done moving because they're in zone of control. Or not zone of control, they're adjacent. At this point, they're stuck. Now, the US unit will be able to do defensive fire, we'll see. But if they did hesitate, let's say they did roll a 5 or a 6, what would have happened is, let's see if I can zoom in here. What would have happened is they wouldn't have made that move, and then that, I would mark this, and I don't have a hesitation marker, but I would put a hesitation marker here to indicate that nobody else can go in that hex. It applies. If I had a stack of units, I could roll for one of the whole stack, or I could move them one by one and see if you get lucky. And all of that is explained here. Each time a specific hex is entered, it's subject to a hesitation, and then if you do get a halt or a hesitation, all subsequent attempts to enter the hex receive halt as also. So let's say they moved here, but they couldn't go one more further, so I would have to create a marker for that. Just trying to find the OBA here. Where are the pieces? Dust level. Counter search. No, that's not it. It's interesting. I had this open the other day and I was perusing the counters, but now I don't. Maybe it's here. Oh, oh no. There we go. Almost got rid of my units there. Okay. This is strange. Oh, I could have done the ELR on that. Where are the units? All of the special. Here they are. No, that just hides them. Maybe it's here. No. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second. All right, sorry about that. I do have these blank counters I can use. So let's say that happened, I would probably drop that there. And that would just say nobody else can go there or move into there that turn. All right. So that covers hesitation, and that's a unique thing with retro. Kind of simulates this defensive fire too. And then we do fire combat. So let's say what I'm probably going to do is put all these here. Fire groups may be formed. I'd look that up. So we'd be in the infantry fire table. KIA, morale check, ELR check, depending on the ELR of that side. And units that are broken are already, yeah, and here's another problem. Units that are broken by fire combat while in open ground must immediately rout or enemy occupied. So this may not be the best place to be, but but this guy's also in open ground. And the problem here is this would have to be turn 2 because have not moved may fire. So let's just say they made it there and they want to fire. So, and this guy's out in the clear, that's 12, so let's check the rear. Point blank range, have their firepower doubled, units fire at normal range, 2 up to normal, maximum normal firepower. So basically what's going to happen, we have 12 against this guy, so let's go ahead and pull up the IFT chart. And that's further back than I wanted to go. Armored combat, here it is. So it said they had 12. DR modifiers, leader directing attack, no, doesn't help. Terrain effects chart, and then I have to find that. TEM, and pretty much road, brush, I think they're all 0. If they're in woods, they get a +2. If they're hedge, +1, +1 defense, woods, triple dot. Okay, TEM, terrain effects mod, cumulative. All right, so nobody gets any, so it would be a 12. And on 12, there's the one we'd roll, 2d6. Let's see. We got a 7. It's very common. That's a miss. No, it's not. Wait, 7 is 7. And basically what that means is, yeah, that's us. We're 7. 7 with an asterisk. Must take an ELR check. So let's see how that plays out here. 7 with an asterisk. So if we get to fire, well, it doesn't say here. Point blank, units are okay, route. So what I wanted to check, morale check. Target hex with a morale rating of this number or lower. So this guy is broken. And wow, I don't know about that. Desperation morale is being added by the Vassal mod. So let's see. So that would mean this guy would make an ELR check. So we can go to the scenario. Let's see. Do they have an ELR for these guys? ELR 5. And then they do have a rule in here that we adjust that. We add to it. Let's see if I can find it. Machine guns, moving allowances, and stacking, morale. I think that's further back. Yeah, here's the ELR ratings. If the Russians, let's see, add 6 to the normal ELR ratings. Okay, so we look at the US ELR and we add 6 to it, which is 5. 5 and 6 is 11. Pretty awesome. And then we roll the die to see what happens. And it's an 11. That's a 9. I don't think anything happens. It doesn't go to the next lower. The check is a DR7, column 8. Make a DR, and if the roll is higher than that side, so it would have had to have been boxcars to do anything. So there we go. That's kind of fire combat. Let's say this guy fired back. Let's say he fired first, so we got 7 in the open. That may not cause as much. If we look at 7 in the open, no terrain effects modifier. Let's see, I got it, yep. There's the 7 in the open, rounds down to 6, so they got a roll of 6. Let's see if they get lucky. They get a 6, so the 6 on 7 is 6 is 6 with an ELR check. And they would all be fine because they have morales of 7, even including the leader. So it would have been no effect. So that's an illustration of infantry combat. And then if we move past the rules some more, that's fire. And let's see, units that are broken are eliminated if already broken. So if you get broken once and then get another broken result, you're eliminated. Okay. We could have, well, this guy isn't, yeah, he's in normal range here. Units that are broken by fire while in combat in open ground immediately route. Move to a non-open ground hex, have a move factor of 4. Firepower modifications. We've got units firing at normal range 2 up to maximum. So the only time you get the point blank is if you're adjacent. Okay. And then we go to the defensive fire phase, and that's when these guys would have fired if they hadn't been broken. And they have special rules. I think it's within 3 hexes. Yeah. Loss within 3 hexes of a non-broken friendly unit during this phase. That defender, all counters in the hex, automatically fires if within range. Any kind of ties, you kind of sort it out by the number of units, etc. But let's say what happened instead was they moved here. Now, yeah, if they'd gotten here, they could have done point blank fire. They would have had 32. They could have done some damage, but instead, let's say let's say they take advantage of the advance phase, which close combat advance, here we go. And the only way you can do close combat advance, everybody move 1. If it's not an open hex that is in the normal range of unbroken unit, or we're entering the hex to do close combat. Okay. To resolve close combat, total up all the fire factors, get some odds, figure the odds, leadership DRM, and that's it, no terrain. All right, so we'd come over here, and 3 times 4 is 12 to 7 is a 1-to-1 on the close combat table. Come all the way down here. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, game tables, there's that. 1-to-1. Got to roll a 2 to a 5 on 2d6. Yep. So the Germans would roll 8, not enough. And then it's 1 to 2, so they got to get a 2, 3, or 4 for the paras. And they didn't. So now these units would be locked in combat until the next turn. But next turn also we could move these guys in. And then we'd have a modifier too, so they'd be 7 to 7, 14, and be 1-to-1 again. But 14 to 12, they would take them to 1 to 2. And with this, it would be a 2 to a 6. And that's a 7. They just barely missed, so we're caught up in a lot of close combat there. So let's bring it on back. We've kind of touched on close combat. Let's see. Yeah, let's go into... Okay, Desperation Morale is a +2. This is wrong. Okay, a broken MMC that is within normal fire range gets a +2. So, for example, this guy would have had a DM. Just would have been +2. So, but he's in the open also. But again, yeah, if you're in normal range, broken MMC within normal fire range of any unbroken enemy squad or MG has a +2. Okay. Some units have self-rally. So let's flip this guy. Well, that's not good. That's not the result I wanted. I wanted to flip him. There we go. I don't know how I made that. Oh, it's not conceal. Oh no, I've crashed Vassal. Okay, well, I did totally crash Vassal. Haven't seen that in a while. So here's the only other thing. When infantry fires, Without a leader, there's a chance of cowering if they get any kind of doubles, I think. And cowering means you do it on the lower column on the IFT. Japanese have different rules. They don't break. They go to a reduced side. Then they're replaced with a half squad, and then they can get broken, and then they can go away. So it's hard to eliminate them. Well, unless you get a KIA. So, and then we come here, movement allowances. 4 movement factors for unbroken MMCs. Broken MMCs don't move, I think, unless they're routing. All unbroken SMC have a single man counters have a movement of 6. Okay. And leader assistant, if they're all together the whole time, they can move 6 with the leader. Still common squad leader there. Each squad may carry 1 support weapon. Leaders may not carry nor use. A hero may carry and use 1 support weapon also. So we got that. Stacking, 3 MMC, plus each having maybe a support weapon plus 3 leaders, max stacking. So this guy has got the max here with 3. And then we've got 1 vehicle and 1 ordnance. That's it. So you can technically have a vehicle, an ordnance, 3 MMCs, and 3 leaders all in a hex. Then we got our machine guns. The only thing they're worried about is rate of fire here. Unless on the counter you assume LMGs have a 1, medium have 2, and heavy have 3. So if you roll that number or less, excuse me, they get a rate of fire. They get to fire again. And it also applies during defensive fire. If you roll box cars, the MG breaks. And then they go into other support weapons, which I'm not going to spend a lot of time on because they're not in this scenario. Flamethrowers, they're pretty powerful. Demo charges also, firepower factor of 30. Panzerschreck bazookas, and they have a table for that. Range of 1, 2 to 10, this is to kill the unit. Then we have Panzerfausts, no effect on infantry, no leadership modifier. Their 2 kill number of vehicles is range 1 is 6, range 2 is 5 or less, range 3 is 2 or less. And they give you fires at 2 hexes, a Panzerfaust. Yeah, nothing about the armor. And a roll 2 to 5. British spring-loaded Piats. Okay. Again, range 1, 2 to 9, range 2, 2 to 7, range 3, 2 to 5. Anti-tank rifles and non-machine gun support weapon breakdown if natural 11 or 12. Okay, if you got a support weapon that's not a machine gun. Okay, and then let's see, we end with smoke here. Roll for smoke, less than or equal to the smoke placement, like these guys have 3. If it's less than or equal to the DRI, no smoke is generated, and they've wasted their movement. Squad may not try if smoke. An American squad attempt to move into an open halt hesitation result for moving, but they still can't lay smoke. Laid in lieu of moving during the movement phase. +1 TEM out of or through a smoke hex. Never drifts. And then there's sewer movement and potentially coming out of it, which we're not going to do for this scenario either. We've got snipers. I don't know if there is a sniper activation number for this one. Well, we'll learn that. Okay. And we've got entrenchments, bunker, concealment. Here's the ELR rules, which we kind of saw. Russian and Japanese units may do different things on low die rolls, going berserk or bonsai. Italians and Axis miners actually may surrender. based on it. Add 6 to the ratings from the scenario. Oh, greater than 10 are considered 10. Okay, I'm not 11, I'm 10. Okay, and here are the default values here. Got some heroes, DR of 2 on any rally roll. Don't account against stacking limits, nice. 6, unhurt, or may give a -1. Then we've got our commissars, Japanese leaders, berserk squads, and now we are caught up to the infantry rules. So that's a quick overview, just focusing on the infantry rules. When I come back, we are going to play Verville. My vassal mod has for some reason crashed, which is okay. But that's what we're going to try out here. 15 pages about for tactical warfare here. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And the next recording, we'll go ahead and start the game. So thanks for listening.